Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to ChriswithaC. Hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for joining me today. Guys, MT8, Team Associated. What we're going to do in this video is basically just get the truck prepared, ready for its first run, its maiden voyage. Couple of things to go over before we actually do that, alright? And I want to just have a little chat about the truck. Now, as you noticed previously, I had this bag of bits that came to me. It basically says it's a service pack. Now, what we're going to do is go over that quickly. Now, let me just put the truck out of the way a second. Now, there's a bit of confusion. I'm an admin on the MT8 owners Facebook group now, okay? And basically we had a little chat about these arms. It turns out these arms are actually from the Red-Cat Kaiju. All right, now these are actually sent out here in the UK with the truck as basically as a replacement arm set for the MT8. If you purchase the truck at the moment, I believe they should come with that there, which is the MT8 service pack 112470. Now, for anyone who's asking, I can't comment on whether you'll be able to get them if you previously owned the truck, and I'm not sure how you go about getting it, all right? But this one in particular did actually come with this. Now, I've spoken to the good guys in Model Sport, and they said, yeah, this is quite normal. And the other thing is they are also going to be restocking on the deal on the MT8 as well. So I'm presuming that these actually are going to be coming with it. Now, I will need to confirm that, guys. I will let you know in the comments. I have spoken to them. They have confirmed that they're going to be selling more of the truck. But as for the upgraded Kaiju arms, and obviously these shock retainers, so basically the eyelet covers, and obviously the extra control arms, that sort of thing, I will need to confirm that with Model Sport themselves. But when I purchased the vehicle, as I say, it did come with a service pack. Now, once I've let you guys know about it, I would say this is definitely good, shaping up to be one hell of a bargain. As I say, I bought the truck for under £300 here in the UK. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering why I'm sounding a bit groggy, it is because I've got the man flu. But I still wanted to get some videos out for you guys. So commitment to the cause and all that, I suppose. But yeah, this service pack actually came in mind. So I will be fitting this to the truck. I want to try and fortify this MT8 before we take it out. Now, there's plenty of videos out there of the truck being used without basically being checked over. That isn't how I do things, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm an enthusiast. I'm a hobbyist. First of all, the reason why I do these videos is to give you a bit of information and, fingers crossed, hopefully help you guys on some of the findings that I find with different trucks and buggies and whatever else I'm using RC wise, and that way then you can make an informed decision on which way you want to go with things. Me personally, I like to make sure everything is working correctly before we even get out there. For example, all right, on the MT8, what I've actually done now, a lot of you guys will actually do this, mind, is I've now reinforced the body. Oh, by the way, big shout out to Alexander Scott, who's made these for me. Very handy, because I've got a little bit of arthritis in my hand, so it is quite handy. But there you go, guys. I've used a reinforced metal tape underneath the body. And the good thing is about this stuff, as you can see, it does fortify the body, but also it's very clean, very tidy, easy to get hold of. You can buy this tape on places like Amazon, that sort of thing. And yeah, the good thing is now that's actually ready to rock and roll, and I should be able to take a couple of extra knocks and not worry about it too much. But quite an easy process. It took me maybe a couple of hours. I sat down watching a bit of TV the other night, so that's now done. What I'm going to do, as I mentioned with this truck now, is I'm now going to tuck into it. So we're going to be changing over the arms, changing over the control arms. I'm going to fit these eyelet covers, obviously like that. Fun thing to mention here, mind if you're using the RPM arms, these won't actually fit, all right? So only with the Kaiju and also the MT8 arms, they will actually fit. Once we've done that, I do have one of my faithful DS3235 Pro servos. I'm going to be putting that in there and actually replacing the one that's in there. Reason why I'm doing this is pure and simply I like the speed of these. They're very fast, very powerful, and very cheap actually, to be honest with you. And then duck into the diffs and basically check the diff oil and thicken up the center to try and remove some of the ballooning that other people have mentioned. I'll then make sure the camber's all set, check the shocks, and then calibrate the ESC. So quite a bit of a process to do. I would recommend anyone who's using a hobby grade vehicle, this is something you should really do. Check over your screws, make sure anything that needs Loctite in, get it Loctited, and then you set the run. And the good thing is, by doing that, you should prolong the use of your vehicle a little bit better as well, I think. Definitely, I've had good experiences. It's something I've always done personally, and it works out well for me. Fingers crossed it will for you. I'm going to stop the video here, going to get my tools ready, and we'll start tucking in, guys. Massive thank you to each and everybody who's watching the videos as well. Guys, we are on the cusp of 1,000. Please remember to keep liking, keep sharing, keep subscribing. Enough waffle, let's dive down and get on with it. Right, first things first, guys. As you can see, I've taken the wheels off camera. One thing to mention, I will say, these little caps that go on the wheels, I'm not sure what Team Associated design team was smoking when they put these on, but they're an absolute pain in the backside to get off. So yeah, just be aware. Obviously you're going to need a set of needle nose pliers. Just get in there and give them a bit of a wrench, and then you should be able to turn them with your thumbs and finger then. Right, what I'm going to do here first, I think, is I'll probably attack the diffs first, I would imagine. No, actually, I'll probably attack the arms first. The diffs. The arms, the diffs, I'm not sure. Basically, I'll tuck into it and start tucking in, and then as I'm going along, if I find anything interesting to show you guys and obviously go from there, I'll pause the video. I am going to put it on time lapse, and then that way then obviously you're not watching too much of it. But yeah, we're going to change arms, change the control arms, do the diffs, and then crack on, and obviously the servo and everything else. I have also got to change this for an EC5 because I really don't like Deans. I didn't, as I mentioned in the video. That really confused me why they would use a Deans plug, but yeah, let's crack on. Right, guys, so actually to get into this diff was quite easy, to be honest with you. Basically what I've done, I've split it now. The reason behind which is what I want to do is change out the arms at the same time. So even though I'm doing the diff, but just to show you, this is why we check the diffs. If you look, that's actually not a lot of diff oil in there. So I'm glad I've checked it. Now, one thing to mention, let's just revert back to some of my chats that I've had with Mitt Snorri, or Tim, which is his real name. I have made up a bit of a list of the sort of things that I'm going to do to the car. But Tim is a fellow admin. In fact, he's one of the main guys on here. Him and James Law on YouTube. Hello, James, if you're watching as well. Thank you. Now, what he's recommending is 30k for the rear. 60k for the front and 250 for the centre. So I'm going to go with his recommendation. I think he said he's running 500 in the centre, but me personally, I'm going to probably go for 250 just to kind of keep that agility going as well, not lock up the centre too much. So yeah, 30k we're going to pop in here. I think that's what they actually run as standard. So I'm going to top that off now and let that stand. In the meantime then, I'll crack on and work on the arms. And just one thing to mention here, guys, there is a shim, and the shim goes on the crown gear side, okay? That's the way it came off, so that's the way it's going to go back on. What I am noticing here, mind, is everything is actually a really good quality. Now, people are going to knock this car, and have knocked this car in the past, but even down to the input shaft, look at the size of the bearing on it, guys. That's something I noticed. Now, I've had 6S armours, as you know, and all sorts, but it's just made of a really nice quality. The bearings are good as well. So far, I'm impressed. I'm not going to knock this car too much now. I think once I've got the arm sorted and obviously it's serviced and set up, I think we're going to be on to a winner here. And especially £300, guys. It's bonkers. Absolutely bonkers money for this truck. But yeah, going to pause the video, crack on now. We'll go from there. Right, okay, diffs back together. As you can see, what you want to do, I did have a little issue where it wasn't quite sitting properly, so just give it a final turn, just basically in a cross head pattern, like so. Alright, and then just give it a bit of a wipe off. I'm going to be using some of my own grease on here as well, something that I use on all my trucks. So I'll give it a wipe off. We have got these little bleed holes in there as well, I've noticed. So that's quite nice. Just basically allows any air to escape. When you're running it, you shouldn't have any problems. But yeah, so that's the diff back together. We have also put the Kaiju arms on. Very, very simple to fit. Didn't have any issues there. So I'm going to pop that back on now. Just give it a bit of a wipe off. Just make sure you haven't got any diff fluid on the outside. And then just to make you aware, guys, that shim that we mentioned earlier on, that goes on the outside like so. And then just pop your diff back in carefully. Make sure that you don't get the shim caught on anything, so that's one thing to mention. So just place it back in the housing. As I say, just be careful not to pinch that shim, because without that, you could end up running into issues where the crown and input gear don't meet correctly. There you go. You just want to make sure, I don't know if the camera will pick that up, the shim is sat inside the little plastic retainer. And then we're going to just start putting it back together. Make sure it's all rolling correctly. What I am going to do, as I mentioned, is add some of my own grease. If you can bear with me 2 seconds. A little bit of TLC when you're actually setting your car up, guys, will actually pay you dividends in the long run. So there is a smidge of grease in there, but I'm going to put a touch of my own in anyway. And I do apologise if I seem all over the shop today, guys. Like I say, I'm not feeling very well. But I wanted to get this done so I am able to run this truck. There you go, it's got a nice coverage. So, pop the diff case back on. 2 screws to do so. Again, making sure you're not pinching the diff case. I didn't actually need to remove the wheelie bar either. So that was quite nice, because I've never had to do that before. I'm just gonna take your time. Take your time when doing these things. Make sure that you don't pinch that shim on the way in. There you go. And we should be ready to rock and roll. There you go. Right, 2 screws. The screws go back in like so. One each side to retain it. There you go, checking that you're actually getting full movement on the diff at the same time. Where's our screw hole? Bummed it in. But look, being honest with you, there's nothing that I've spotted on you that declares this car not fit for purpose. I know a lot of people have mentioned, a lot of people out there have said, it's not that good. Look, I disagree. And it's not because I own one, guys. I would tell you otherwise, but don't get me wrong. We're quite lucky to have the Kaiju arms here and now. But I do feel that if you're able to just kind of take your time and set things up correctly and basically just get the car right and ready for use, it's going to help you in the long run, full stop, definitely. And it's trying to remember as well, guys, where everything goes. Like that, it's going to sit there. We've got a screw then to hold that in place, I believe. So that's not too bad. Okay, we can deal with that in a second. What I'm going to do actually is just pop this side back on for the moment. There you go, like that. Oh, notches are the wrong way around. There you go. Okay. So that would go chassis down, I believe. Yeah, like so. And then the holder in like that. And then the 2 screws to capture. And then what we could do on this side is actually put the shafts back through. Look, now, if you're not prepared to actually work on these cars, that's fine. I mean, it's probably not going to be the car for you. I will say that. But a little bit of preparation, I suppose. Right, guys, pause. Right guys, while I'm having a little break by here, centre diff is done. We used some Corrali diff syrup, 250 weight, 250,000 weight, and the diff is feeling really smooth now. So far, very, very impressed with the way this is comes apart and goes back together, and the quality of the parts. Now, are there a few little issues with the car? Probably. A couple of things I'm going to address before I even run the vehicle, but I don't. It's hard to say that this vehicle wasn't worth the money. I genuinely do feel this is definitely worth the cash that it was demanding in the first place at the price point. And I know I keep going back to it, of under £300 here in the UK. It is an absolute bargain. Right, I'm going to have a puff by here now. I'm going to carry on working on the vehicle. We're going to concentrate on the front now, get the front diff done, and get the arms done at the same time. Once we've got that done, then it's the servo. And the only thing left to do then, apart from servo, is change over the battery connector, I think. Check over all the screws, just in case. But yeah, so far, so good. I can't fault it. Right guys, so Kaiju arms front and rear are done. Centre diff has now got 100k, 250 and 60. 100, am I right in saying that? No. Have I put 100 in there? I can't remember. No, I haven't. 60, 250 and 30k. Right, it's been a long night. Oh God, I do apologise. Right, so next thing for me to do now is obviously this servo. Quite an easy thing to do. Like I said, I haven't actually even used this servo yet, but I do know that these servos that I've been using off eBay are very fast and strong as well. So I'm actually going to swap that in there now. Some guys who are using the 25 kilogram, as long as you're happy with it, happy days. But I have a preference, and that's what I'm going to use. What do I think so far? Well, to be honest with you, it was a lot easier to take apart and put together than I actually initially thought. I think by doing what I've done now, fingers crossed, we should get some longevity out of the vehicle as well. I'm going to order up the Ackerman on Friday. Basically, I'm going to upgrade the Ackerman straight away, get it out of the way. But other than that, I'm quite happy with what we've actually got going on here, and I'm looking forward to running the vehicle. These tyres, I'm going to see how they get on, because I've got a feeling these are going to bloom terrible, but you know, I have got a set of backflips we can put on there anyway. But yeah, really nice actually. I might actually look at the shocks in a moment anyway, and just top up the shocks, make sure they're all okay. And then we'll have a go at soldering this, but put you back on time lapse now and I'll see you in a sec. Right guys, so what have we done so far? Servo is in. The only thing I did find is excessive use of thread lock, but you can't say that they didn't use it, so I mean, take that as you will. If you got, I mean, obviously myself personally, I was going to change the servo over, but they did thread lock the screw in, and I did have to apply some heat to get it off. Same with the motor mount actually. Now what I actually use, just to give you an idea, you've probably seen it earlier on, is a little gas lamp. Just applying some heat on top of the head, and what that actually does will allow you to unscrew the screw from the thread lock, and it basically just frees it up and allows you to take it out. Now, a couple of other things to mention. As I mentioned earlier, the arms are on. Diffs are all done now. Before I can actually set the servo up correctly, what I do need to do here is actually swap out this Dean's connector. I had a teeny weeny tidy up here, but what I am going to do now is actually attempt to solder a connection on here. So I made this little handy dandy. It's only just something knocked up, but basically, as you can see, it's a shock stand. Little bits of wiring, stuff like that. I used it for my diffs earlier, so you know, just basically band together, and it's all about making things work for you guys, really. This servo is going to be a lot faster as well than the stock one. 25 kilograms is fine, but the response time on this is a little bit slow, so that's why I wanted to change it over. Just a personal preference thing. So what I need to do now is get this Dean's connector off, get the soldering iron out, and solder an EC5 on there, because yeah, I do use EC5s and that's not going to be any good for me. So right, watch this space. Right, okay guys, bit of a break. What I've done in the meantime, as you can see, I've got my EC5 connector. That's the connector I actually use, and I trust these. I've used them on all my cars. That Dean's connector, I'm sorry, Team Associated, you should be ashamed. That isn't up to spec at all. So put some batteries in the handset now. I'll turn that on just to set the servo. Let's knock this on. Oh, a nice tight connection there. Right, first time use. So we've got lights at the front, lights at the back. Servo is slightly off. So what we need to do now is basically center. There you go. So that should be spot on. As you can see, Steering is nice and fast. It is back to front line, so we need to flip it that way. There you go. No. There you go. And we should have. Right. Okay. So we have steering. Looks relatively straight. Maybe one click to the left. Let's see if we can get it. I can adjust that mine with the turnbuckle, so I think I'm happy with that there. Bear in mind, obviously you've got your trim set in as well, so I can adjust that. What I'm going to do though, before I do all, obviously do the servo back up, I'm going to do a throttle calibration. Now, I've probably shown a few of these guys in previous videos. I'm going to turn it off. Make sure you got obviously your throttle trim sorted. Turn it off. Hold down. There's a little button by the side of the on-off switch. Hold that down. There you go. Neutral. Accelerate. Brake. And you get your beeps then to say it's calibrated. Okay, so that seems to be fine. Steering's nice and quick, and what I need to do now is put some Loctite on that screw. With a 2mm driver, way through. The table is a mess, guys. It's been a busy one tonight, that's for sure. But yeah, we got it. I think it's all done now. That's the main thing. Right, where's my screwdriver? Do you think I can find it? Can I help? Ah, there it is. Right. Bit of Loctite. A bit too much Loctite actually. Let's just take that off. And pop that back in. Tighten that down, give it a wipe off. Okay, check the steering again. Happy days. So I'm going to check that calibration on the ESC one more time. Bear in mind I've got to turn it off, hold it down. Neutral once, accelerate, brake, and now it's recognised my inputs. Right guys, so we're all done here. We are all done. Let me just check the wheel light. Yeah, they're all on. So ESC's calibrated, steering servo has been upgraded, kaiju arms are done, diff, centre, rear and front, that's all done. New connections made on the ESC, obviously using an adequate battery connector. Oh, there you go. And what else? Shocks. I could do the shocks today, but to be honest with you, I think that's more than enough. But right, pop the wheels back on and I'll see you in a sec. Right guys, so welcome back. Massive thank you for sticking with the video this far. I wanted to do this a day after, so as you can see it is daylight today. I wanted to give you my opinion on working on the truck, what I found and everything. My head was really fuzzy yesterday with this cold that I got, and basically, I just wanted to think about everything and process everything before I come to the end of the video. And I think it's only fair for you guys, if you stuck through the video this long, it's worth me obviously going into a bit of detail before we close the video up. Right, as I mentioned, definitely make sure you reinforce your body. I'd recommend that on all your trucks anyway. Let's take these body pins off and I'll talk about the rest for you. Working on it actually was a lot of fun. It was a lot easier than I anticipated, and with it being Team Associated, big shout out to Neil Milliken as well. He did mention that obviously Team Associated have been doing this since 1946, so some of the key elements to this truck that made it fun to work on for me were actually, you can see where the planning's gone then. You can see why they've done what they've done and why it was as easy for me to do what I did yesterday in the limited time frame that I had. One thing to mention, there was a downside to it, was obviously the Dean's connector. Didn't really like that Dean's connector, but we have got an EC5 on there now, so that should be absolutely fine. If you're gonna get this truck, guys, bearing in mind it is a 6S truck, Dean's, if I remember rightly, is only rated up to 75 amps. You're using 175 amp ESC. So number one, you're creating a bottleneck for your ESC, and number two, you are going to heat up your connections a fair bit if you're going to be running it on 6S. So change it over to some of the high amperage rate, then you're going to be golden. To work on the diffs was actually really nice. Now, as you've probably seen in the video, I did strip this down a fair amount basically to do some work on it. But to actually, in reality, to get the front diff off, there was 2 screws on the top, I believe, 2.5 and 2 mil, and that releases the bumper. And then you've got 2 screws to actually get so at the front they've got obviously a casing that sits over the diff like this, and the 2 screws, you release that off and your diff comes out. It was shimmed obviously straight out of the factory, so that's good. Again with the rear, the 2 screws to get it out, no problem. Now the only downside to the diffs I found was straight out of the factory, there was hardly any diff fluids in there, so obviously that is a key thing to actually preparing your truck for the first use. I would recommend you checking over your diffs, guys. Another thing, to actually fit your servo, to get the servo in there, there's your receiver box. It's done with a body clip. Obviously that releases your wire, 4 screws to get it out, release the horn. Obviously another thing, I did mark it down as a possible downside with the excessive use of Loctite, but what you also got to think of is you're better off having more Loctite than not enough. So yeah, I can't really knock them for that. But yeah, release the servo horn, put the servo back in, put your wiring back in, and lock it back in the waterproof box. Shocks, I'm not really that bothered about. They seem to be nicely tuned. ESC, very easy calibration. I do have videos on my channel on how to do this. Guys, like I said, hold the set button down, turn the car on. Kaiju arms weren't actually that hard to fit. I would recommend putting these on the car. They, if you look, guys, I don't know whether the camera will pick this up. Let's have a look. You will see there's a lot more flex in them. They do bend, and that way then obviously it should increase the strength of it by being able to actually move around slightly. So that's a good thing. Wiring's all done nicely. The other thing I did like actually is on the motor here, you've actually got an inspection cover for your pinion. 1 screw again to actually release it, to get at your grub screw for your pinion gear. And it's very easy to move. So obviously the motor mount moves back and forth. Again, nice little thing to point out. The other thing I have noticed, there is a little bit of flex in the steering Ackerman, so I would recommend getting that upgrade. I can actually see it physically with my own eyes before even running the truck. So I am going to replace that. That's something I'll actually pick up. But overall, the general quality of the vehicle is very good. Like I say, prepare your truck ready for first use. It's all well and good taking your truck out and then it not performing, or maybe something happening to it and you think, well, that's not very good. But when you consider the original price point for this truck here in the UK is £509, I believe, and now you're actually picking it up for less than £300. It's just a pure no-brainer. Pure no-brainer. Love the actual chassis, 4mm chassis, so that's nice. I don't think there's a lot more for me to say here, guys, other than the fact that, the other thing I don't like is these stupid wheel nut covers. Pain in the backside to get off. So when you do get them off for the first time, just basically do them by hand so you can actually undo them. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting it out. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it's a bit of a long one, and thanks for being with me, like I say, with the cold. I've tried to battle through it last night, and just basically my head was completely gone in the end. Went to bed, got my head down, had a shower, that sort of thing, and today's a different day. Right, guys, keep liking, keep subscribing, keep sharing. Obviously, we're on the cusp of the 1,000 subscribers. I can't thank you enough. I do also have a ChriswithaC Facebook profile now if you want to stay up to date with some of the findings. I post pictures on there, that sort of thing. Just follow me on Facebook. I also post in the community tab. Guys, massive thank you to each and every one of you. I hope you're staying awesome. Have a great day. Check the box. See you later. Catch you in the next one.